Hello there guys, QwertyAfro here, welcome back to another video. Today I am doing Metro Simulator and it is episode number 11. This game has been not so long ago actually updated, and I think it's probably one of my favorite, well, to be honest, every update with this game. It's a bit of a secret pleasure, this game, for me. It is one of these games that I've said before, and I think in a previous episode, that it's one of those games that I actually do play on my own, off the channel, off like nothing related with QwertyAfro or anything like that. It's actually one of those ones that I just love to just sometimes, just when I'm bored and I just want to kill some time, I just put it on, put on a route. Simple stuff, really. The latest is, I think it's 3.16 is the latest update for this game, and it came with obviously some updates for like some of the normal maps like Rindam and Simvalet, but one of the main ones, one of the new things that I think everyone should be really interested in is this map called City of Thames, and it's, I think, the first British sort of styled kind of London-esque map. Basically, it's just kind of like a fictional tube map sort of kind of thing, where we have a few subsurface lines that you can drive with the S7 stock, I do believe. I don't think it's S8. And also you can drive a deep level tube line, which is, I think the stock is the 1995. I think it's a 1995 stock. Could be the 1996 and 1996 stock. One of them too. I'll put up a map here. You'll see what you can sort of do. There's a green line, there's a yellow line, and there's a red line. And the red line sort of like sort of inspired by the central line, I suppose. Has loads of different branches on it. The green line as well has a lot of branches, kind of sort of like district, kind of sort of loosely based on the district. And then you have like the kind of like yellow line, which is kind of sort of the circle line, but it's not a circle yet, because I'm guessing this map will be dated in the future at some point, and we'll probably get a full circle, and we'll get some more, maybe some more lines, because there's other tube stock available for this game, like the 1973. There's also the D stock, which you could chuck the D stock in, I think, on this map as well, like through the console. Anyway, before we get in, I do have to thank some people. I do actually have some members on the channel. It's like this thing, like similar to subscriptions on Twitch. You can actually join my YouTube channel and support me per month and get like some perks, like some emotes and stuff like that. And also you get a shout out, because I don't really do shout outs anymore, because it just got so out of hand back in the day. So now instead, if you do this option, where you don't have to do this option, by the way, but it, like, people have been doing it even when I've not been posting videos and stuff for quite a while, so I don't understand why. But I have 3 members currently off the channel, and they are Sam Gaming, Ethan Afro, and James Carey. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, even though the main person running the channel has not been here, but hopefully now I am. I do appreciate the support, and it shows that you guys really do like the channel. I do believe that if you're on a certain tier of it, you can send me like direct suggestions and stuff for videos, which I'll be trying to like take those on board. So I think members, I'll kind of give a little bit more priority to kind of maybe suggestions and specific video ideas. We'll see how that works. Right, inside the game here now. This is 3.16 of Metro Simulator. There's I think I've shown some of this. I think we were kind of the last thing we did. I think it was, I was doing an S7 line M4 service on Rindam, and that was like quite good. There's still so much of this game that I actually have to show you guys. There's so much. Like, I could do so many episodes just showing off all of these lines, all of the different trains. There's trams in this game. This game is just so, from where it came from, where we started in episode 1 of this series, it's come a long way. I'm going to be doing I think I'm going to do the Barlow Branch, I think, on, it's the deep level line we're going to do today. on this City of Thames map. I'll go through, hopefully at some point, I'll go through all of the lines that you can drive, the different branches on this red line, also trying out the green line, and of course trying the yellow line. So I'll try and get this series, this Playing Metro Simulator series, like really forward content. I have quite a bit of work cut out for me. So I'm going to do this afternoon kind of activity, this 202 Barlow Branch, and let's get into the game. Right, we are here. We are at Barlow Heights. I do believe the station is called. Let's just get out here, give you a little bit of a view where we are actually. This is Barlow Heights. This is like the upper end of the red line. Well, it's kind of like loosely based on the central line. Well, actually, it's kind of loosely based on quite a lot of other lines, because this kind of gives me sort of Stanmore sort of vibes. So kind of a bit of Jubilee. There's also, there's like a kind of Ealing Broadway where it goes to like Ealing, which is kind of loosely Ealing Central. That's where we're actually heading like today. You go into the link down below onto the website, go onto the wiki, give read the information, see what you want to see. Definitely download the game and give it a little try out. It's very kind of easy to do now with the installer. It is unfortunately only 64-bit. The current updates and stuff like that, they've only made it 64-bit, so not all devices are going to be able to kind of run this update and kind of like the later versions of the game. But we're driving the, I think this is the 1996 stock. You can see that's all kind of sort of like Jubilee line kind of esque. If you did hear the sounds of the doors when I opened them, they do sound like the 1992 stock, which is a bit interesting, because I think this train in Rindam had the correct sounds, or maybe it didn't. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's a bit odd that it has 1992 stock door sounds instead of the actual correct 1996 stock sounds. Anyway, this is the sort of map, as you can see. So Barlow Heights here at the top, at the most northerly terminus on the red line, and pretty much all the other lines. Then I think we get to Palace Garden, and then everything between Palace Garden and I think it's Acton Lane is underground, so that's like deep tubes sort of stuff. We do change here, and at Oldgate, it's like the main kind of thing where all lines kind of intersect and change. You then have, once you kind of resurface, all the green line kind of follows and kind of does a sort of thing like the Metropolitan and Piccadilly line in real life, where they run together on the same track after kind of Elmford Central, and they terminate both together at Beckton Junction. But then we're going on this branch today down to Ealing Central, which is sort of like, it looks a bit like Ealing Broadway. You'll see what I mean. But I think we should get ready to go, depart, because well, even on the board here it does say we're kind of held. But not many trains actually per hour terminate here up in the Barlow Branch. This is the sort of more quieter end of the line, but there's a little less traffic. Now, what's good is I like the sort of activity balance is quite good. I think I do like about the I like the variation of activities that are available actually to play with this City of Thames map. It's really, like, it has a really good amount of variations in terms of like the different branches that you can play on the red line. You can do early shifts which start at the depot and then come out and do like a peak service sort of kind of thing, and then they go, I think they go back to depot, or they terminate at a kind of like kind of shorter halt stations kind of thing. You can do evening shifts where you do like the last sort of run and then take the train back into the depot. I do believe for some of the green line activities you can do depot swaps, so you can do unit swaps and take you don't do any sort of like passenger service or anything like that. You just literally do ECS, just empty coach stock runs. and just move units around the depot, which is nice. Obviously, with this game, detail is not the uppermost kind of thing, but some of the stations, I have to say, are really nicely thought out. And I think one of my favourite stations is actually coming up because it's one of the stations sort of based on the real life local station of mine, Wilson Junction. And I think for a future sort of thing, there's going to be some sort of like North London line kind of thing that kind of goes, but we'll see when we get to that. These kind of like first few stops here on the Barlow Branch are kind of more spaced out, sort of similar to what you see kind of like on the upper end of the Northern line, and even sort of the upper end of the Central line, where the gaps between the stations are a little bit longer. But you'll see once we actually get into the sort of core of the route, where we actually have like basically underground, you'll see that it gets a lot more kind of like tighter with the gaps. So coming up into our first station, what I also love on this map, the signalling is just traditional London Underground signalling. It is not ZUB, LZB, any of that kind of stuff. So there's no like confirming the dead man switch or whatever that you would normally have to do, and alarms would be kind of racing at you and wanting you to kind of confirm things, blah blah blah. But it's just a lot more kind of simpler signaling, shall I say. And we do have speed activated signals, so in like stations, like terminus stations, or stations with like junctions at the end, points at the end of either end, or stuff like that. Like you'll see at Palace Gardens when we come into it, you'll have speed activated signals, which the signal will hold at red, and then we have to be below a certain sort of speed to kind of get it through, which I kind of think is similar to the Just Trains Metropolitan line kind of thing. That was for Train Simulator. I still kind of have to do a video of that at some point. Little heights, little whining. Very nice sort of island platform station. But I've seen some of you guys comment in like previous videos letting me know that 3.16 did come out for this game, and as I said, it's one of those games that I've actually been playing by myself quite a bit, and I've played on all of these lines on the game. Absolutely love it. It's just really relaxing to play. Just put on the AI as well, just good as ever. And I do believe this is the station that is sort of very loosely based on Wilson Junction in real life. I think it's something, I can't remember the actual names. It's actually been a bit of a while since I've actually played this. Coming up to a red signal here. Oh, it's changed to green. That should be fine. Right, Wilford Junction, which in the name itself, kind of very similar to Willesden Junction. It has these kind of like two platforms, and then this kind of sort of middle terminus platform, which is kind of similar to the layout of the lower levels at Willesden Junction. And then if you actually hop up here, you can see the higher level, and you can also see that it's third rail, it's not fourth rail like we're actually on right now. So something maybe in the future, wherever this where this map gets extended or updated, we could maybe see something running up here. Don't know what stock we would kind of use. Maybe there's a 313 kind of. Oh no, there is a 378 actually. There is a 378, so that could kind of work. So this is probably one of my favorite stations actually on the map, just because it's loosely based on my local station. Right, got a green signal, let's get going. Remember, the thing is, even if I'm late in this game, I do believe the AI automatically adapts to that. So normally things, just coast here. See, this is where the tracks here connect up. So maybe in the future, I think there is something that would connect up here, and then it continues past Palace Gardens and still goes like sort of overground, while we go underground towards like the kind of Acton area on the map. Yeah, but the stations, I have to say, are really, really nicely modelled, and also even the buildings, as you can see, some of the buildings are like more British kind of inspired instead of the sort of kind of European, sort of Netherlands kind of things that all the other kind of maps are kind of based on. Very nice. But as I was saying with the AI, because I think I'm running sort of kind of late here, I think. The AI ahead, because I think at Palace Gardens you have Red Line trains that terminate. You have Red Line trains that go up to the Hendon branch, and then obviously you have trains that go to the Barlow Heights branch. So I think even though I'm late, all the slots that I think the Hendon trains come in and the Palace Garden trains that terminate and go, I think they can just skip ahead and go ahead of me if I miss my slot. I do believe. Because the AI in this game is not scripted to the actual... It's scripted to a timetable, but it's more dynamic. So things react to kind of lateness and stuff like that, and it will reroute stuff around. It feels like the AI is a little bit more encouraged to kind of keep things moving if things don't slot into the normal thing where it's supposed to kind of trace the timetable flow of things. That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of feeling I get when I play and I see how the AI kind of interacts and changes. So you can even see the kind of like the brickwork and the footbridges and stuff like that with the design of the stations are a lot more British, a little bit more London focused, which is nice. Go. Give you a little bit of a passenger view. It's very 1996 stock, pre refurbishment, because these in real life I do believe have gotten a they got a recent kind of refurbish to kind of reflect, I guess, the colour of the line, the kind of sort of silver. The poles have been painted sort of like the kind of grey silver. The seats have got a kind of like neat moquette. The flooring, I think, was done. A lot of stuff, actually. It looks quite nice. One thing I was a little bit shocked, actually, when I've been on 1996 stocks is that similar to, well, not similar, is how on the 1995 stocks, on the door panels, they took off the button, that kind of like old selective door button thing, and they put like just like one of those closed door indicators, similar to what you find like on the S stock or on the 2009 stock and the 1995 stock. But on the 1996 stock, they kept the buttons for some really weird reason. Anyway, we are here now at Palace Gardens, and this is kind of Queen's Park. This is kind of loosely based off Queen's Park, because we do have like the terminating sidings in the middle. We have tracks here that we would go through to go into the kind of like underground part. You can see here we're coming up to some speed activated signals, so I have to slow down now for it to there we go, it's activated to just to a yellow, because I think there's a train actually up ahead in the platform that we need to be in Palace Gardens, which is great. So we're going to actually be waiting here at a red while that train ahead of us clears and gets into the tunnel. But before we just actually came into the shed here, you saw a track that actually split off there. I do believe that could be part of that sort of overground kind of extension that would go into its own separate platforms and continue past Palace Gardens. So if I just come out here, this track here, this is like probably like maybe a future update overground extension, and this track here is actually from the Hendon branch that goes, I think there's 2 stops on this branch that then it terminates. And if we just go over here, you can see this is another train here going to Beckton Junction, and then the next 2 are Ealing Central. Most terminate at Ealing Central, and then like the 3rd one terminates at Beckton Junction. And you can see the train next to me here is the one that's actually terminated. I think this is you have Ealing Central to Palace Gardens, and Ealing Central to Barlow Heights, and then I think Beckton Junction to Hendon Central. And see that one's gearing up, ready to go, because that one's actually going to be departing after me. And I need to be slow, because okay, good. These speed activated signals can really catch you off guard. Especially as the kind of visibility of them, once they kind of pass your visual point through this main windscreen, can be a little bit obscure because of the middle door. And there we go. Between the train and the platform. Very well, it's very 1992 stock, isn't it? It's not 1996 stock whatsoever. But yeah, this is again sort of like Queen's Park inspired, because now we basically just go underground here. There's another shed here, so there's basically like 2 sheds either side, which is very similar to the sort of setup in Queen's Park. Trains do terminate here. There's main shed. We kind of go through the shed. There's a through train. All pretty good kind of like setup here. Like whoever designed this map, I think it was like a person called 2 names. It's like Michael and I can't remember. It starts with an S, the second name. I do apologize. They make most of the maps for the game, or they're the most avid map creators for the game. But they've done a very good job here, and they've obviously taken inspiration from certain stations and lines from the actual London Underground network in real life. So it's really nice to see, actually. And obviously, one of the main things is that we actually have a 4th rail as well, because driving the tube stock on other kind of more Dutch-inspired maps, all we were just seeing is the kind of weird European 3rd rail, and just driving these sort of like British underground sort of trains on that sort of setup just doesn't look right. While this looks good. This looks very much so acceptable. Well, now we're into the underground section. And this is quite a nice section, actually. There's a good, nice collection of stations. This first station now coming up when you actually depart Palace Gardens and go down for the first, I can't remember what the first station's called. But really nice gap. It's actually quite a long gap. But then you have some really nice stations. One station's actually based on I think it's Clapham Common, which is I think it's Clapham Common in real life, which has the narrow middle island platform, and that's really nice to see. I think most of the underground stations are either based on Central Line tube stations or Northern Line tube stations. Definitely near to the end of Acton, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stations that look like sort of like Shepherd's Bush tube station, like Queensway or kind of stuff like that. Anyway, our first station. I've come in a little hot, but these brakes on these trains are very good because, you know, they're cheap train brakes. Beautiful. Torquay Towers. Yeah, these are the sort of like underground stations. They have a little bit of they're detailed enough. They have free passages to the other platform mostly, but I think this one is a one where it's like above. They're not actually side to side parallel. One tunnel is actually bored underneath. Right, we need to go because you can see the next train is literally behind us. So. Let's get out of here. Let's not rush up the service. Even I don't know. Is it right behind us? Yep, it literally is right there. So I need to be swift. I need to be very swift now between these next few stations. I think the next station is Queen's Cross, if I can remember. One of the next stations is Queen's Cross, and it's very reminiscent of Marble Arch. Okay, it's not the next station, but I think the next station after this one is called Queen's Cross, and it is basically Marble Arch because it has like the well, it's either Marble Arch or it's like Liverpool Street. It's either based off the Central Line's Liverpool Street or Marble Arch. Because it has like the two sort of terminating sidings either side of it. And there we go. This is now like a parallel sort of setup. Another train coming in here. I'm going to close my doors, get ready, and just literally go. This is literally peak service running. No dwell time should exceed like 10 seconds. There's my train goes off into the tunnel. Hopefully we can build a bit of a gap with the train behind us. Even though, to be honest, I am going pretty fast, and I'm not going slow at all. And I'm very surprised that I'm actually making my braking points and actually stopping in time, because it's very easy to actually overrun on this map, especially on this like deep level tube line. And I do believe this is Queen's Cross, and I think we're coming up to a red at the end of this one. Normally, I think here at Queen's Cross and at Oldgate you normally wait at a red, but because I'm quite late, it'll just change to a green. So this, I think, is based off Liverpool Street or Marble Arch. Probably Liverpool Street because it actually has the curve in the platform. Marble Arch is a bit more, I think it's a straight platform. Right, let's do a little internal departure. It would have been nice if the actual door sounds were kind of, you know, linked to the 1995 stock, not the 1992 stock. Well, to be honest, it would be great to have a 1992 stock to drive in this game. So yeah, you saw the little points there that go up into the actual sidings there, down back sidings. But tell me in the comments down below if any of you guys have actually played 3.16 and have played on the City of Thames map. Tell me what your favourite line is, what your favourite train is to drive, or what's your favourite activity to do, what's your favourite branch line on this map. I definitely like doing the Hendon branch, because the Hendon terminus station is very much so like it's like Elephant and Castle in the Bakerloo line. There's the kind of like scissor points crossover just before the platforms. It's an underground terminus station. Right. And my stopping has been really good. Like normally I'm not that good at the stopping, because I drive either too fast on this line. The green and the yellow line where you're driving with the S stock is actually not too bad. I feel the S stock has slightly better brakes than this. Yeah. But I'll definitely do a video of doing like the green line and the yellow line at some point in this series, as well as all the other branches on this, and also looking at some of the other lines on like Rindam, maybe a little revisit to Simvillet, because there's actually quite a lot of changes to that. Like there's just so much with this game. This series could be like quite a lengthy series. I think I've always treated doing videos of Metro Simulator as just like, oh, here's one video every so often sort of thing, and it just ends up that the videos are very spread out. They're not as consistent as other series as like Train Sim on the channel, or back when Fernbus was, you know, in its height. And here is the lovely Clapham Common. I think it's based on Clapham Common. Tell me in the comments if I'm right about that, because I think it's Clapham Common, right? Or is it Tooting Beck? Or Tooting Common? No clue. It's one of those southern northern line stations. Let's get going. Let's depart. Let's depart both at the same time. But to be honest, the way it's modelled in this game, the actual width of the platform is actually quite wide. In real life, it's a lot thinner than this, from what I remember. And to be honest, I've not actually been to that station in quite like, I've not been actually down that sort of way of the Northern Line. Like, probably the last time I've been down there is probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Right, let's try that again. That was a spam alert, contact the signal sort of moment, but we're back here at Oldgate. As I said, it was one of those stations that brings you down to a red and you have to wait here. But we're here. The power of editing obviously allows me to just continue as if nothing has happened. But yeah, that's me losing my track of thought. And just coming into Oldgate with a full speed ahead towards a red. But, you know, things happen. Let's go. I've caught up in such good speed and fashion that I'm actually not late anymore, which is kind of funny, but things do happen. Anyway, that was Oldgate Station, which is kind of like the main interchange between all the lines, or the red, the green, the yellow. So I kind of feel like I should be calling it like, yeah, the central, the district, and the circle, but they are just red, green, and yellow. I promise not to reminisce on stations that I used to visit as a 4 and a 5-year-old. Because that apparently makes me run into red lights. Anyway, I think we're in the last kind of few stations before we actually resurface back over ground. And these are kind of like, they feel like the sort of stations near kind of the end of the central line that kind of comes out near Shepherd's Bush and White City. So this is Rumbled Way. Some of the sounds don't work as good on some of these trains, like they kind of cut off weirdly at red points. Yeah, we have Acton Lane, and then Acton Central will be back over ground. So yeah, this Acton Lane station, I kind of think it's sort of based on Shepherd's Bush tube station, maybe. Has quite a curve here. I think it was this other end, maybe. Oh no, it's not. Oh, okay. Maybe I was just having a sort of thought in my head that it might have, like, yeah, this sort of sharp turn kind of gives me Shepherd's Bush sort of kind of vibes. Shepherd's Bush tube station. If you know it, you know it. Right, next station is Acton Central, where we submerge into the daylights again, and we meet up with the Green Line, I do believe. And the Green Line actually has quite a lot of it. It has like the Simpleton branch, has a Beckton branch, it has a GWR station branch, a Oxford Cross branch, I think, and there's one more I'm forgetting. Starts with an S as well. Something Stamford Park or something like that, I think. We'll see when we get up here. We can have a look at the destination board. And I do believe this is another one of these stations that has the infamous speed. Oh, and hello, look at that. Same, having a dual arrival. But I'm gonna have to slow down a lot more quicker because of this speed activated signal. That's good, beautiful. And we don't want to spat again. There we go. And we're both held at a red. So what is this train going to? This train is going to Southwick Park. That's the one. So two branches here down south: Southwick Park, Beckton Junction, and in the previous station on the subsurface line, there's another branch that goes to a place called Simpleton, I think. And I think also here there is a siding. It kind of gives me sort of West Hampstead vibes as well. Sort of, because it has like this kind of middle siding here. Some trains do terminate here from, I think it's from Barlow Heights in the morning. There's a morning peak activity that you can do that actually terminates here and then goes back to Palace Gardens, I think. Let's do a dual departure. That. I think I should be going 25, but I'm going 30. But now I can hit 50. One thing with I think it's with underground driving, is when you hit the speed board, you can increase to that higher speed. But on network rail kind of thing, you have to the whole train has to pass the speed board before you can actually do the actual permitted speed. which is something I've always found interesting. So literally, you see the speed board. Oh, I can do that speed. I think we're supposed to be doing 30 into this station, but literally tagging along with this S stop. Another whole selection of junctions. I think the red line also goes onto the the subsurface line here, because that's joined from the Beckton branch. Come on, give me a yellow, thank you. And we are here at, what is this station called? Elmford Central. I think this is one of the, there's a few depots around the map. This is another big one here, where I think both the green and red line use this depot for like the trains, and you can do like activities with the S stock and the 1996 stock, where you do kind of like depot transfer, ECS things, and start from this depot or finish at this depot kind of thing. Another dual departure maybe, but so that one's already started to depart before. Right. I think we're going straight, so we can go to 35 because we're going on to the Ealing branch. And then normally, if you're going to Beckton Junction, you would join this line here, and you'd be on the same sort of tracks as the green line. Again, sort of similar to the Piccadilly and the Metropolitan line between Rayners Lane and Uxbridge. While we go off by ourselves. A couple of stops. Oh no, actually, it's quite a few stops actually. But this is where it becomes like Central Line kind of territory. It's like this whole red line is a mixture of like Bakerloo, Northern, Central, Piccadilly. It's a mix of so many different deep tube level lines, and then the subsurface line is actually pretty much purely. It's kind of like purely, well actually, it's kind of a mixture of everything as well. There's a mixture of Circle, District, Hammersmith and City, and even a bit of Metropolitan line there to like kind of a Beckton Junction station. Right. Let's nicely slow down here. Elmford North. You can see we have, oh, what is that? So Burbeck Cross trams, and then there is Overground and Grey Line. Ooh, I've not seen this before. Maybe I've just been completely ignorant. Maybe these are the sort of future things, trams on this route, Grey Line and Overground, which would be really cool to see. I was trying to do a bit of give a whistle. I always forget what the whistle is. Normally I go for like space or H, and in this game it's the enter key. Yeah, but yeah, look at the aesthetic definitely of this map is really like done nicely. It definitely doesn't have that Dutch sort of influence like the other maps do, because obviously all the other maps are sort of kind of like based on like Dutch cities, like the Dutch Metro, Rotterdam Metro, Amsterdam Metro, kind of stuff like that. While this definitely has its own sort of flavour, very much unique to the Underground and London. Station is this? I literally cannot remember. It's actually been quite a while since I've played this. Halliford East. think I do believe we go underground for a little bit here. There's one station that, like, in the middle of here, like, that's just underground by itself. Kind of similar. Actually, I don't know what this station's kind of actually resembling, to come to think of it. If anyone knows what this kind of entry into this tunnel looks very much like the East London line, or like the overground East London line now, that goes under the Thames, like the Rotherhithe tunnel or whatever, has a very sort of kind of similar kind of profile. But I don't know what station this next station's actually based on. I think it's kind of like, we'll see when we get to it. We'll kind of we'll do a little assessment of it, shall we? This is, I don't know. Don't know actually. What are we actually thinking? This Halliford Square between like Oldgate East, and I don't know, Wapping. Anyone have any suggestions? Do leave it in the comments down below, because I'm struggling here. I can there's no real deep level tube line that has a sort. Well, definitely nothing that has this kind of tunnel interior for like a deep tube level line. Maybe a subsurface line, but a deep tube level line, I don't recall having this sort of kind of interior. All right, let's get departed. Off our way to Ealing Central. But then we're not in tunnel for too long, and then we just kind of re-emerge back again into the daylight. And yeah. I do kind of miss this maquette as well, the 1996 stuff. So it was a very, very funky sort of maquette. The new one's nice. Looks a little bit more modern, a little bit more fresh, but this old one was quite a funky design. Next station, potentially Burbeck Cross. I think it might be Burbeck Cross if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, it's Burbeck Cross. Was it 35 miles per hour? There we go. Hit that beautifully. And this is one of these other stations that you can terminate. There is an activity, I do believe, that terminates here. I think it's a morning Palace Garden activity. So you start at Palace Garden Depot and you terminate a few times at Burbeck Cross in the kind of peak, and then you do like a final round into Ealing Central. So you can see this has like a little turn back siding here. I don't know what this train station is a bit. What does it reminisce of a real life tube station? I don't know. So middle siding, very wide island platform. Ooh. Don't know. This one's a bit hard. Because a lot of tube stations, especially like on the Jubilee, northern part of Jubilee, Central Line, definitely have this sort of kind of architecture. And then I think up here you can see, for maybe future trams, but in the future Burbeck Cross has a tram line little station up here, which is Cute. But we're ready to go, ready to depart. Cool. Probably one of the first videos of Metro Simulator in a while where I've actually not been using the AI ATO function. Sometimes in my videos when I do this game, I just kind of sometimes hit C and just let the train drive itself and just talk to you guys. But I've actually been, I think, driving quite well. Obviously, we had that little SPAD incident at Oldgate, but we'll let that slide. We'll let that slide for now. Yeah, do let me know your thoughts though, guys. I'm sure some of you guys have, of course, played this. I would be shocked if you haven't. Because a lot of you have been actually telling me, as soon as this came out, you were like, oh, it's quite, you need to play 3.16, it's so good. You need to play the underground map now, the City of Thames. And I've been playing it. It's pretty much the only map I exclusively play on the Metro Sim now. I do need to look back at the older ones. Now this kind of reminds me of Wood Lane. Or actually no. Wood Lane looks a lot more modern, but this kind of reminds me of someone like the Hammersmith and City Circle line towards Hammersmith. Or even, to be honest, it could be still Central line. Maybe like East Acton. But East Acton doesn't have like these kind of like sheltered sort of roofs and kind of stuff. Let's get departed. How many stations do we have left? We have 2. Ealing East and Ealing Central. As we depart Doncaster Market. To be honest, I think it was a good decision in some ways to make a fictional kind of map. And to be honest, that's the thing with this game is that it's always been fictional. But there's something so just real about playing on, even though this is a completely made up route, it still feels like it's tastefully done. Everything that's been sort of made and designed for this game, it's done in a way that I play it, and even though it's fake, and well, not fake, but it's not real. It's not a realistic route I'm driving here. There are good cues and tones and stuff like that within the route when you drive, where you can relate to certain like station designs, obviously the trains that you drive and sort of kind of thing. Now this station, I wouldn't have a clue. This looks like a made up kind of design. If there is a station like this on the network, then it's quite bougie, quite modern. A lot of glass and quite an old roof. But this one feels very sort of kind of like a lot of elements of different types of stations all sort of merged into one. Right, final stop, Ealing Central. It has been very much so a blast to do this video, guys, today. Do let me know in the comments what you would like to see maybe of the next Playing Metro Simulator episode. Would you like another Red Line branch video, so doing the Beckton branch, or doing the Hendon branch, or probably what most would want to see is maybe the Green Line or even the Yellow Line. Probably a Green Line would be good, maybe like the Beckton branch with the Green Line, or what else could we do? Like the Simpleton branch, the Southwick Park branches. So many branches that you can do within the game. And then at some point, of course, the Yellow Line, which only just has one sort of kind of, like, obviously it's going to be a circle eventually, that's what it's kind of alluding to. But there are some activities for the Yellow Line that you can do, like this, like depot kind of things. But yeah, this is Ealing Central. It has a sort of depot here as well. This station obviously is sort of Ealing Broadway kind of inspired. Obviously, there isn't a depot here with sidings at Ealing Broadway, but yeah, there's another kind of terminus of platforms here on the right-hand side, which obviously would be a subsurface line. But that's kind of, I think, reserved for the grey line from what I saw. So we'll see what that kind of looks like in the future whenever that gets updated onto this route. And then obviously the mainline platforms will be for some sort of overground inspired line. Or crossrail overground inspired line. But yeah. Very much I enjoyed it. I love playing this City of Thames map. I definitely would recommend it. The link will be down below for the SimBL. I don't know what the website's called, but the link will be down below. Do download it if you can. It's not that hard to. It comes with everything, and then obviously look at the wiki for like instructions and stuff like that for playing on certain maps. Tutorials for the keys and stuff like that for your keyboard. Again, it is only currently, well, it's been available for quite some time. It's only available to play on 64-bit systems. I do think there is a previous legacy version that you can get for 32-bit systems, but do check what you can run it on. Anyway, guys, there we go. You can see we did the longest sort of section, Barlow. I'm saying Barrow. I think I've been saying Barlow Heights. So we've done Barlow Heights to Ealing Central. That's kind of like longest journey on the red line, and then there's Beckton Junction to Hendon Hall. Well, actually, no, I think it's Ealing Central to Hendon Hall, and then no, Ealing Central. There's 3 variations of this line. There's Ealing Central to Palace Garden, Ealing Central to Barlow Heights, and I think Beckton Junction to Hendon Hall is the other kind of variation of the line. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it today. Another episode of Metro Simulator. Playing Metro Simulator. I will definitely try and do more of these because obviously there's so much to do on this map. There's also loads of stuff to look at in previous maps. Do leave your suggestions and stuff down below. Would love to hear them. I would love to hear your experience of playing this map and what you guys think of it. Again, link is down below. Do have a check out. And other than that, I will see you guys in another video. Do take care. Be safe. See you soon.